The silence had been deafening. For weeks, Alex Eala had watched his tournament after tournament release their entry lists without her name. The Birmingham Open had embraced her. The Ilkley Open had welcomed her. But the biggest events, the ones that could define her grass court season, had ignored her. No wild card into the Rothsay International Eastbourne, no invitation to the WTA 500 event in Berlin, no special consideration for the prestigious tournaments that could have prepared her for Wimbledon. And then she broke her silence. Not with a press conference, not with a social media post, but with something far more powerful. What did Alex Eala say about being overlooked by major grass court events? And why are fans calling it the most honest statement of her career? June 2026. Multiple locations. Grass court season. The grass court season is short, precious. Every tournament matters. For players hoping to make a deep run at Wimbledon, the weeks leading up to the All England Club are critical. The Rothsay International Eastbourne offers WTA 500 level competition and a chance to test your game against the world's best. The WTA 500 Berlin Ladies Open provides the same. The Nottingham Open, the Birmingham Classic, the Bad Homburg Open. Each tournament is a stepping stone, opportunity to sharpen your skills on the surface that demands the most precision. Alex Eala had earned her place at these tournaments. She was ranked number 37 in the world. She had just won the Birmingham Open, her second WTA 125 title, and her first grass court championship. She had proven she could compete on grass, that her game translated to the slick surface, that she belonged. But when the entry lists were released, her name was nowhere to be found. Not at Eastbourne, where the draw was packed with top 20 players and British wildcards. Not at Berlin, where tournament organizers had filled their spots with German favorites and established stars. Not at the Birmingham Classic, the tournament she had just won, where the main draw was already full. The snubs stung. Fans noticed immediately. Social media erupted with questions. How could the woman who had just won a grass court title be left out of the sport's most prestigious warm-up events? How could a player who sold out stadiums, who drew thousands of Filipino fans across the globe, be ignored by tournament organizers? Some speculated that the WTA's $50,000 fine and formal warning had damaged Eala's relationship with tournament directors. Others suggested that her withdrawal from the HSBC Championship, the mandatory event she had skipped due to personal reasons, had made organizers hesitant to offer her wildcards. Whatever the reason, the result was the same. Alex Eala was being overlooked. And for days, she said nothing. June 2026. Multiple locations. Social media. The entry lists were released. The snubs were confirmed, and Alex Eala said nothing. For days, her social media accounts remained silent. No posts about the tournaments she had missed, no complaints about the organizers who had overlooked her, no explanations for her fans, who were growing increasingly frustrated on her behalf. The silence was deafening. From Manila, a fan posted, "How is Alex Eala not in the Eastbourne draw? She just won Birmingham. She's ranked number 37. She's the biggest draw in women's tennis right now. What more does she have to do?" Another wrote, "The snubs are unbelievable. Eastbourne, Berlin, Nottingham. She's not in any of them. Tournament organizers are either blind or biased. This is disrespect." A third fan added, "I'm tired of the tennis establishment treating Alex like she doesn't belong. She's proven herself again and again. When will they finally recognize her?" The frustration was not limited to Filipino fans. Tennis analysts and commentators also expressed surprise at Eala's absence from major grass court events. "This is puzzling," one tennis journalist tweeted. "Alex Eala is coming off the biggest grass court victory of her career. She's a ticket seller, she's a story, and she's not being invited to the sport's premier warm-up events? Something doesn't add up." Another wrote,
I'm not saying she should automatically get a wild card into every tournament, but Eastbourne, Berlin, she's ranked high enough to qualify for the main draw of most of these events. The fact that she's not even on the entry list is strange. Speculation ran wild. Some fans pointed to Eala's withdrawal from the HSBC Championship, which had resulted in a $50,000 fine and a formal warning from the WTA. Had that incident damaged her relationship with tournament directors? Were organizers hesitant to offer her wild cards because they feared she might withdraw at the last minute? Others suggested that the snubs were part of a broader pattern, a tennis establishment that still didn't know how to handle a player from a developing nation, a sport that talked about diversity and inclusion but continued to favor players from traditional tennis powers. "This is what happens when you're from the Philippines," Eala's fans posted. "You have to work twice as hard to get half the recognition. Alex is proving herself on the court, but off the court, the system is still stacked against her." Eala's team remained silent. No statements, no interviews, no explanations. But behind the scenes, sources say the Filipina star was hurting. "She's disappointed," a source close to Eala told the tennis journalist. "She's worked so hard to get to this point. She's proven she can compete on grass, and now when she needs the preparation the most, the doors are closing." The silence was not submission. It was strategy. Eala was choosing her moment. London, England, June 17, 2026. Queen's Club, private interview. The silence had lasted long enough. After days of speculation, after weeks of frustration, after tournament released entry lists without her name, Alex Eala finally spoke. She did not hold a press conference. She did not post a lengthy statement on social media. Instead, she granted a single, exclusive interview to a trusted tennis journalist, a conversation that would reveal more about the Filipina star than any victory celebration ever could. The interview was brief, just 15 minutes, but its impact would be felt for years. When asked about being overlooked by major grass court events, Eala's response was measured, honest, and devastating. "I'm not going to pretend it doesn't hurt," she said. "I've worked my entire life to get to this point. I've won titles. I've beaten top players. I've proven that I belong on grass. And yet, when the entry lists come out, my name is still missing." She paused, her jaw tightening. "I don't blame the tournament directors. They have difficult decisions to make, limited spots, so many deserving players. I understand that." Her voice hardened. "But I also know that if I were from a different country, if I were British or American or German, I wouldn't be fighting for these opportunities. I would be given them." The words landed like a thunderclap. "I've learned that in this sport, talent isn't always enough. You need the right passport. You need the right federation. You need people in the right rooms advocating for you." She leaned back. "I don't have those things. I never have. But I have something else. I have the support of 115 million Filipinos who believe in me. And that, I've learned, is worth more than any wild card." The interview ended. The journalist filed the story, and within hours the tennis world was buzzing. Eala had not made excuses. She had not blamed anyone. She had simply told the truth. And the truth, it turned out, was more powerful than any complaint.
June 17, 2026. Multiple locations. Within hours of Eala's interview being published, the tennis world had erupted. The hashtag #EalaSpeaks trended at #1 in the Philippines, the United Kingdom, Australia, and Canada. Fans who had been frustrated by the silence, who had been angry about the snubs, who had been waiting for their champion to say something, anything, finally had their answer. From Manila, a fan posted, "I've been waiting for this." Eala finally spoke, and she didn't hold back. She told the truth about how players from developing nations are treated. That took courage. Another wrote, "She's right. If she were British, she'd have wild cards to every tournament. If she were American, she'd be a household name. But she's Filipino, so she has to fight for everything. That's not fair, and she's right to call it out."
A third fan added, "I'm not angry anymore. I'm inspired. Eala didn't complain, she didn't make excuses, she just told the truth. That's leadership. That's our champion." Even non-Filipino fans were moved by Eala's honesty. "I've been critical of the snubs. I thought maybe there was a good reason she wasn't getting wildcards, but after hearing her speak, hearing her explain the reality of being a player from a developing nation, I get it now. The system is broken." Another wrote, Eala just did something most players are afraid to do. She spoke truth to power. She didn't blame anyone. She just described the reality of her situation. That's not complaining. That's advocacy. Former players weighed in with their support. Venus Williams, who had partnered with Eala at the Bad Homburg Open, tweeted, "Eala is right. The system favors players from traditional tennis nations. It's not fair, and it's time for that to change. I'm proud of her for speaking up." Billie Jean King added, "When players from developing nations speak out about the barriers they face, we should listen. Eala is not complaining, she's educating, and we need more of that in our sport." The interview had transformed the narrative. No longer was Eala the player who had been snubbed, she was the player who had spoken truth to power, and the tennis world would never look at her the same way again.
London, England, June 18th, 2026, the day after. The interview was over. The statements had been made. The controversy would continue to simmer. But for Alex Eala, the focus had already shifted. Without the preparation of major grass court events, without Eastbourne, without Berlin, without the tournaments that could have sharpened her game, Eala's path to Wimbledon was different, but not impossible. Her training at Queen's Club continued, her practice sessions grew more intense, her focus sharpened with each passing day. "I'm not going to let the snubs define my preparation," she told a member of her team. "I'll train harder, I'll work smarter, and when Wimbledon comes, I'll be ready." The Ilkley Open was still on her schedule, the grass court season was not over, and the All England Club was waiting. The $50,000 fine was behind her, the tournament snubs were in the past, the only thing that mattered now was Wimbledon. Alex Eala, the 21-year-old from Quezon City who refused to break, was ready. Laban, always. And Wimbledon is coming.